Welcome, everyone. Women's and Children's is very grateful that you've been joining us on our webinars throughout the month of October to bring awareness of domestic violence. Tonight's webinar is about how family and friends in the community can help support people in controlling relationships. Your support can be a tremendous value to a friend or a relative that are involved with an abusive person. You can help break the isolation and the loss of control that they may feel. We understand that everybody has different talents and gifts, and that's to be respected. However, some people may feel angry because their loved one has not left the controlling relationship. Others may feel confused about what's going on, and others may feel guilty because they were in a controlling relationship and perhaps now their children are. So I thank you for joining us. Patty's going to be talking about many ways that you can be of support for your loved one. I just want to mention that there is a book entitled To Be an Anchor in the Storm by Susan Brewster. I understand that it's been revised and new things have been added, and I highly recommend it. Susan Brewster identifies 3 types of helpers. She identifies the distancer, the person that doesn't want to get involved, and that might be because for safety issues, or it might be because their viewpoint of domestic violence that's a private matter, or it might also be because they had been in a controlling relationship and they do not want to bring this up in their life again as a reminder. Then there's a person that comes into the situation, oh, you want to leave? Okay, fine. I'll get the moving van, I'll do this, you'll go to school, you whatever. And in their way, they're becoming controlling. We might think that you're being extra helpful, but in the long run, we're actually taking over in a different way. Then there's the person that's the anchor in the relationship, and they will say to the victim in the situation, how can I help you? And that's what I'm hoping that tonight that many people will realize, that being a helper is a process, and it is something that needs to be worked at. So I highly suggest that book. And Patty now is going to be talking about the 12 principles of being an anchor, of being a helper. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Patty Gonzalez with Women and Children's Horizons. Welcome to week 4 and our final week of Domestic Violence Month. Today I'm talking about how family, friends, and the community can show support to someone experiencing domestic violence. I'm going to be talking about 12 principles for being an anchor in the storm. This is a book that was written by Susan Brewster, and she lists 12 principles which can be used when working with a battered victim. The principles listed here can be applied when a victim shares their abuse story with you, whether or not they are asking for your help or support, and whether or not they are with the abusive partner. Women in Children's Horizons, number 1 in her book says, believe them. Most victims minimize the extent of their abuse. Very few lie or exaggerate the truth. Under extreme stress, some may have a spotty recollection of their experiences. For you to accept and validate their reality is what's important, not determining with precision the facts of the case. You can do this by telling the victim that you believe their story, feelings, and perceptions. This is crucial. It helps bring clarity to them, strengthens the victim's self-esteem, and deepens your relationship with them. Number 2 is to take the victim's abuse seriously. You can show that you are taking their abuse seriously by listening carefully to what victims tell you, not minimizing the abuse yourself, not passively agreeing with others or when they minimize the seriousness. Pay attention to your body language. If you have difficulty with this area, you may want to think about your own preconceptions about domestic violence, and that will show in your body language when someone is talking with you. So be mindful of your body image and the way you receive that information. Remain neutral. Don't take sides. This is number 3. Taking sides, even if it is victim's side, will only place victim in a position in which they eventually have to choose between you and or their partner. The victim will most likely choose the controller's side. Even if the victim does leave, don't take sides. Let me say that again. Even if the victim does leave, don't take sides. Controlled people may leave several times before they leave for good. Several times. Even if a victim does leave, it takes time for someone to process and even grieve for a lost relationship. It is not necessary to take sides in order to show your support. Support comes in the form of good listening. Giving the victim your full attention when they seem to need it, not necessarily waiting until they ask for it. Number 4, respect the victim's decision. Don't judge. You don't have to agree with the victim, but you don't have to put their decision in a good or bad category. Should the victim decide to return to their partner, the victim may have more insight and resources available that they didn't have before. If you never have lived with an abuse, let me start that again. If you have never lived with an abusive partner, you can't possibly understand the conflicting issues and feelings they may be experiencing. If you have been abused, while there are more common denominators that you may share with the victim, your journeys are still different. You don't have to agree with the decisions the victim makes. Just respect their right to make them. You can tell them you don't agree, but watch how you come across while doing that. Concentrate on what you see that the victim does well rather than what you see as their failures. Number 4, honor their feelings. Whether you feel their feelings are right or wrong, simply acknowledge them as their feelings. Give them the freedom to express them, and let it be known that you sometimes have uncomfortable feelings as well. It's important to be able to distinguish between thoughts and feelings. Very often, if you ask how something made someone feel, they'll respond with a thought. Number 6, don't give advice. Giving advice tends to take away the controlled person's power. They already have a controlling person in their life. If the survivor asks you for advice, offer several options and ask questions to help the survivor make choices that will be best for them. In cases of life and death, situations, intervention may be necessary. That overrides this principle. Instead of giving the survivor advice, encourage survivor to regain confidence in herself. You could say something like, "What do you think you should do?" Or, "You're the one who knows your situation best," reminding her of other decisions she has made that turned out well for her will help her feel more confident in her decision making. Number 7, control yourself, not her. Don't tell her if she won't leave her husband's abusive situation, you won't be there for her. That is self-controlling, limit setting. Now, if a woman left her situation and moved in with you, and you had a rule not to disclose where she was, or she would have to move out, and she did tell her batterer, she has to face the consequences of breaking that rule by moving out. Show her your reality. Remind her of who she used to be before the abusive relationship. Help her move beyond the distorted perceptions of her abuser. Let her know that she is not the one at fault for her partner's abuse. Remind her that she isn't responsible for the controller's behavior, and that nothing she could do deserves a violent response. Her partner has choices of how to respond in any given situation. The partner good of choose non-abusive ways. Okay, this is written wrong. The partner could have chosen non-abusive ways of handling these feelings, just as millions of other men do in their relationships. Number 9, try to empathize with her while maintaining your objectivity. It won't help at all if you become as emotional as she is. She needs a safe person to go to who won't fall apart or get angry. She needs you gently to keep her focused until she's able to tackle one problem at a time. If you stay balanced, you will be able to be emotionally available and be available to maintain enough objectivity so as not to be sucked up into the emotional despair. An effective anchor is calm, not an unaffected, but calm. Remember, as an anchor, you're planting seeds to support. Number 10, be a good model. Fulfill your own needs. Take care of yourself and take a day off. 11, let her know how you can help and cannot help. Be honest about what you are willing to do and what your limits are. Only you can determine that. This will help clear up any misperceptions. Set up healthy boundaries as well. If you're not clear with her about your limits, or if you help her in such a way that you feel used up, you will resent her, and neither of you needs that. Number 12, suggest ways of helping her which don't have strings attached. You don't expect anything in return. Too often, family and friends are only helpful if their loved one leaves her abusive partner. It's hard for a woman in an abusive situation to leave their partner after they've been with them for so many years, for so long, or if they have children and the male is the breadwinner of the family and that's their financial support and a roof over their head. A lot of women don't leave because of those points, and because of their self-worth and their self-esteem are just killed by the verbal abuse and the mental abuse that they've endured from their abuser. So keep in mind that, when someone reaches out to you, just listen first. And if they're asking you for answers, you don't have those answers. They have to come to those answers on their own. It takes a long time for someone to realize what they're missing in their life to make it right for themselves. It's a long journey, and they're asking you for support. That's all you need to be, is a support for someone in an abusive relationship. I hope this helps, and I hope you're able to take some of these points away with you. You can go back to the webinar and look at these again. And thank you for your time. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you, Patty, for presenting these 12 principles that are super useful when helping domestic violence victims. And also a huge thank you to those still listening and still sticking with us thus far. And these last few slides are some comments and feedback that we've received from a few clients about WCH and the help they have received from us. Ms. M states, I would like to personally thank the legal advocates and WCH for helping me obtain my divorce. After many, many years, I was able to get free from a dangerous and confining situation. The legal advocate was very helpful in explaining the process, completed all the necessary and appropriate paperwork. I do not know what I would have done if this organization was not available to women such as myself. The legal advocate is a very encouraging person, answered all my apprehensions and went above and beyond for me, just by showing up for me at every court date. For that, I will be eternally grateful. Now I can move on with my life in a secure and blessed way. I had no one to help and nowhere to turn to when I was in this dark place in my life. WCH has given me, and I'm sure a lot of women, hope. Sincerely, Miss M. Our client Jay states, I appreciate so much the assistance from WCH for my past domestic violence situation. They allowed me to see clearly that this is unacceptable. No one should accept or tolerate anyone demeaning them verbally, emotionally, or physically in any relationship. You are worthy of being treated with respect, love, and being cared for. Please reach out to someone you trust or WCH for resources to get you through it if you're living in a domestic violence situation. You are loved and worthy. Sincerely, Jay. Thank you so much, Jay. Our final client states, Women and Children's Horizons was there for me in a time of need. There were multiple times when one of the advocates would come and sit with me in the hospital and just be a shoulder to cry on when I didn't have anyone. They also would offer me a place at the shelter, but I always returned to my unhealthy situation. I always knew I could talk to them and not feel judged. They were able to provide me with many resources and help me get out of my abusive relationship. When I left, I had nothing. But thanks to Women and Children's Horizons, I was able to receive help with things, and now I am better than ever thanks to them. Sincerely, M. Thank you so much, M. And with this, we conclude our webinar series from Women and Children's Horizons as part of our Domestic Violence Awareness Month activities. And we hope that these presentations have been useful. And as advocates have mentioned before, we are here for you, and please feel free, don't hesitate to reach out to one of us if you need help, support, assistance. I'll put our contact information in the slide, and it will have our address, our main phone number, and our hotline crisis number. So thank you so much again, and I hope you all stay safe and healthy. Thank you.